Going a very long distance by bicycle is a fairly distinct way of traveling. Sometimes we feel like turtles. We carry our home with us and are fairly slow.
We are out there in the big wide and at least to us unknown world, with everything we own, fairly vulnerable, and naturally there are some setbacks occasionally.
It is a very windy day, big trucks passing us sometimes really close and very fast. And they have this intense wind blow they give you. First they push you away and then they suck you back behind them, and yeah, Arif just fell. We washed it now as good as we could, disinfected it and put a big plaster. Hello officer, there has been an accident. He doesn't care.
Fortunately, this time Arif only sustained some bruises and abrasions. So far it took us a little over 4 months to cycle through Germany, France, Monaco, Italy, Greece, and we are about to reach a major milestone, the middle of Turkey.
In this episode of our Amazing World Bike Tour series, we leave the religious center of Konya behind us and cycle to the world-famous and magical Cappadocia. Eventually, we end up in Malatya, another 400 kilometers further east, but one thing at a time.
We just asked some people in a local mosque in the village behind us if we could stay there. But one of the guys suggested that in Sultanhani there's an old caravanserai. So even though we are at 105 kilometers already for the day, we'll add another 8 to sleep in this old 100-year-old caravanserai.
After mobilizing the last traces of energy in our legs and reaching a new daily record of over 110 kilometers, we reach Sultanhani. Unfortunately, there we learned that sleeping in a caravanserai only meant a campground that goes by the name caravanserai.
No. Please. Sultan, no.
Eventually, despite this adorable little fella's best efforts, we managed to pitch our tent, and a restful night later we get up early to visit the caravanserai before everyone else. Well, the second flat tire on Arif's bicycle took care of that brilliant plan. As we eventually make it inside, it's time to learn something. The caravanserai of Sultanhani, or rather the Sultan Han, is one of over 40 caravanserais built during the rule of the Seljuk in the Middle Ages. Think of it as the interstate truck stop of the time, just without the gasoline and camels for trucks.
This specific one is considered among the prime examples of Seljuk architecture in all of Turkey. It provided services to travelers and caravans along the Uzun Yolu trade route leading from Konya to Aksaray and continuing into Persia as part of the Silk Road.
It's very comfortable here because it's not so hot. This huge building gives a lot of shade. The walls are very thick, so it's like a natural air conditioner. The Han is entered through a pishtag, a representative gate made from marble decorated with murkanas, both typical for Islamic architecture. The main gate leads into a big courtyard, and a similarly decorated second archway on the far side leads to the Ivan, a covered courtyard for winter use.
A square stone kiosk mosque, the oldest example in Turkey, is located in the middle of the open courtyard. So just like in a modern-day motel, you could park your camel directly next to your room.
We finally reached Aksaray with only one flat tire and one damaged Arif. Great day and fantastic headwind. The last 20 kilometers or something, I'm like, why is it not going forward? We're doing less than 10 in the total flat. That's so frustrating. Goedenavond. We are about to leave Aksaray, but first we go through the center. We spent 2 nights with our lovely host Shebnem. She was so kind to host us another night and to help us with a lot of things.
So now we have a logo, we have a stickers, everybody knows who we are, and we are very, very happy, and we continue now our trip. So, why is Cappadocia one of the most famous destinations in Turkey? The first picture that probably comes to mind is hundreds of hot air balloons.
While we find the amount of people at and the vibe around major attractions exhausting, we got to see this one. I guess that is what makes a place a major attraction, its major attractiveness. Anyways, Shebnem suggested we first visit a lesser known village just 25 kilometers east of Aksaray at the end of the Ilara Valley. It has everything that Cappadocia is famous for, except hordes of tourists and hot air balloons. What you see here is a small part of the Miocene Cappadocian Ignimbrite sequence, which features voluminous eruption deposits in a fluvio-lacustrine sequence with fairy chimney development produced by uplift and erosion.
Or it looks good because of volcanoes. It has been settled by humans for at least 3,000 years, and in that time they carved not just some caves, but houses, temples, churches, actually entire cities into the rocks, many of them underground. Here at the periphery of this impressive landscape, we only met this one dog strolling around.
Yeah! Woohoo! There you go. Super enthusiastic Matthias here right now. It's not hot, I'm not sweating. No. I'm sweating a little bit.
So, 5,000 kilometers amazing world bike tour. That is really just a number. Of course, it gets meaning for us through the countless little stories we can attach to it, the things we've learned, the people we met. If you watched our series from the start, you might be able to grasp it, the impact this experience has already had on us so far.
It took us roughly 4.5 months of cycling in total to get here. We are excited, but unfortunately, like in most places in the world where there are many tourists, there are also many problems, like this poor camel. We quickly decide to cycle past Uçhisar and find a quiet camp spot in the gorgeous hills behind Göreme.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh mein Gott. Alter Verwalter.
It's not even 5 o'clock in the morning. Everybody here is awake because of the hot air balloons. The place here is, of course, very, very impressive with all the rock formations and caves, and yeah, the landscape is just incredible. And now we are really waiting to see how this magic happens today. While there has been commercial hot air ballooning in Göreme since the 1960s, it really blew up when a video went viral some years ago. Nowadays, about 200 balloons take to the sky every morning if the weather allows.
It is a huge business and people fly here for a couple of days from all over the world. Tickets start at around $150 per person and can easily go into the hundreds for a longer and or less crowded experience. While that is too expensive for us, we got ourselves some front row seats for this spectacle for free. Also, I'm a little bit afraid of heights.
Oh my god. They will fly over our tent. Oh my god. Look at this, look at this. Arif! What the hell? They fly some hot air balloons here. It's pretty impressive. Some of them flew really close, like literally 2 meters above us, then down to the valley. So some of the pilots, they're really giving their customers a hell of a ride. Oh, there's a group of people riding horses, ATV passing behind me. They are driving around here with literally thousands little off-road vehicles, racing them through those rock formations, destroying them in time. So yeah, obviously a lot of problems created by this tourism here.
We got invited by the only local warm showers host, Arif, and we almost can't believe our luck. He's getting several requests a day and has hosted countless people, which is a lot of effort. So we, like in the both of us, gladly offer to help him in the garden. Together.
Wow. Just this pigeon shit, natural. From his Cappadocia.
That's brutal.
Yes, Cappadocia is actually is volcanic area here. First people, maybe Christian people, pigeon shits is very nice.
The smell is horrible.
Yeah. Stop.
Matthias!
Heading out of Cappadocia towards Kayseri. Cappadocia was great, but it's always a little bit tough for us because tourism creates so many problems. A little bit happy to get out, cycle through the countryside with normal, regular people where you can really get to feel the culture. This is day 117 since we started in Freiburg, Germany. And yesterday was kind of a funny, little crazy day. I mean, we were headed for Kayseri, thinking it would be a little bit of a harder day, but then got picked up by a guy named Isa with his truck, who took us for, I don't know, 20-25 kilometers of the way.
Wow, how nice! It's actually going to rain in half an hour. The driver stopped and asked us if we're heading to Kayseri, Uşadiye.
Ooh, okay, your name?
İsa,
Matthias?
Matthias,
Alev.
Alev.
Alev.
Oh, teşekkürler. First time that someone offers us to pick us up on the road. We didn't really think about it if we would do it more often. But yeah, why not? It's the first time we try what happens. And we get to Kayseri quicker. We can check the train station if it's possible that we take the train with the bicycles and everything. So we can go to Malatya quicker and then to Nemrut. So yeah, this is great.
Kapadokya güzel, insanlar, kişiler iyi değil.
Yeah, okay. Because of tourism, everything is so expensive, especially in Cappadocia, which is a touristic hotspot, that they cannot go there really, except for work, but they cannot go there for fun because it's just too expensive.
Olarak zor bir yer, güzel yer. Yabancılara çok sıkıntı.
Around Göreme, there's the most balloon starting and landing areas, and there's basically not much farming going on anymore. Also, there's a lot of people, the balloon companies bring in people, tourists every day in, out to the area, so there's no point in
About a week earlier, having our daily lunch and heat break at a gas station, we were approached by Dennis, a medical professor traveling home to Kayseri. Our fully loaded bicycles made him remember his dream to cycle Turkey after school. His dad had not allowed him, so he was very curious to learn about our journey once we would arrive in Kayseri.
We're riding in the rain. We're cycling in the rain. Turned out that the trains are completely fully booked, and he literally said trains would be as full as in India. We have to go through the city center of Kayseri, which apparently is also a million people city that I didn't know before. So, okay. Oh my god, German drugstore. Globalization. Yeah, we were headed to meet or to get to Dennis' place, but he was still working, but he gave us his address. And on the way to his place, we were stopped again by two men actually. They were curious where we're coming from and where we're headed, and immediately asked if we know where we stay. We should be their guest. So, as we didn't know if Dennis would be comfortable with us staying at his place, I mean, we saw each other 5 minutes before at a gas station 200-300 kilometers away. So, we followed Bayram and his friend. Then they brought us here, which is their old family house, which they don't use right now really. Even though we said we're not hungry, they brought us some food, gave us coffee, tea, and gave us a key for the house. He even wrote this morning a message asking if we're fine, if we need anything, even money, whatever. We said, well, thank you. But a roof and a bed and a shower was really great for us. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was our day yesterday. Ah, and obviously we later met Dennis, had dinner with him, had a great time. So now what we actually will do, hop on a bus to Malatya, save a week's worth of time to struggle up 3000 meters elevation, climbing to Mount Nemrut, which will be great, we hope.
Everybody's fighting for selling their tickets.
He's trying to figure out if we can take our bicycles on the next bus.
Teşekkürler.
This company does not have space for our bicycles, but he said that other company can help us. Hopefully. Okay, he says no problem. Ne kadar? 500, normal price. That's good. I checked in the internet before, so it's 250 per person. Okay.
Çok güzel. Let's go to Malatya. One of the greatest things about slow travel is the intense contact with locals.
Being on the road as open as we are on our bicycles, people invite us into their homes, which makes our experience way more interesting. As we peek into their lives, we get so much information, which of course can be challenging at times.
We are not only very visible, we are also very approachable, and there is no metal shell around us.
Well, except when there is, like right now. But Araf usually feels sick a lot in ships, cars and buses. She did her fair share of throwing up, so this is really not her preferred mode of transport, no matter how comfortable or luxurious it is.
I feel a little sick. But yeah, we saved many days. In any case, by now we can probably say that we are travelers rather than tourists. So far we covered roughly 1000 kilometers per month on the bicycles. We like this pace, but there are limitations. The visa-free scheme in Turkey allows us a stay of 3 months, but it is a huge country. This time we decided to skip 400 kilometers of riding to have enough time for our biggest physical challenge yet.
So join us again next time when we take on the legendary Mount Nemrut. If you enjoyed this episode, please be so kind and give it a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference for us to get noticed by a bigger audience.
A very special thanks goes to all of our amazing contributors on buymeacoffee.com/aworldbiketour. We highly appreciate your support.
Starting with as little as $5, you can also help us creating more videos, which is fun but also a costly and time-consuming endeavor. Every episode we present you with various and unique aspects of our journey. You can follow our development from our pathetic but motivated beginnings to whatever this is now.
Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
And may the wind be in your back.
Why are we doing this again?